Trading for me has been my exit plan, be able to spend more time with my family and replace my income. Treat my wife to something nice. Got an idea that I'm going to surprise her now for Valentine's Day with a night out in London to one of those big jazz shows.
Amazing.
So that's the plan, yeah. 99% of all of my time and effort is spent looking at gold. And so for me, gold is 100% my preferred instrument. I'm clearly now, after looking and doing this for a year, much less emotional about it. I'd love to be more like a robot and have no emotion attached to what I'm doing.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Trader Stories podcast here with Hola Prime. Today we're joined by Paul from the UK, who has a $100,000 funded account with us, and today he's eligible for his first payout, around $6,000, so he's doing incredibly well. Paul, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Really well, considering it's January and the weather's miserable outside. It's going to be a good day.
Awesome. I feel you. Paul, 6K payout. What an amazing, especially for your first payout. Is that your first overall payout you've had on the prop firm, or?
It's my first from Hola Prime. I have had a 700 payout from another prop firm a few months ago, but this is my first proper payout, I'd say, and I'm super excited about that.
It's a substantial amount, so I can understand why, and a great way to start the new year as well. But Paul, I would love to kind of know how it all started for you trading wise. When and how did you get into trading?
So I think it probably for me, I started getting really interested in it about 2 years ago. It just seemed to come up on my news feed. I think I'd been asking questions about gold and Forex and stuff. And so my feed got filled with bits. And I just started really looking at gold, and then got interested in trading. And from there, discovered prop firms, found Hola about a year ago. And it's just been a real journey ever since. There's so much information out there, which you never know whether it's good, dodgy, or whether you're applying it right. And really over the last year, I've just practiced, read, gained knowledge, lost prop accounts, come back again, learned a little bit more, and this is the result. So it's fantastic.
Paul, the 6K payout today, can we do like a live payout so you can show the viewers actually requesting the payout live? Can we do that?
We can do that. Let me share the screen.
Awesome.
There we go. Hopefully you can see that.
Yep. Perfect.
There we go. Let's request the payout.
All right. Use Max. Click.
Yeah.
About to request $50.
That would have been a disaster.
Perfect. All right. So that is submitted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a timer. Let me just quickly do that now. I should have probably had that set up. Timer, stopwatch. Here we go. Okay. So I started a stopwatch. Paul, whenever that comes through, whenever you get, a notification from Rise, etc., and the money's come in, do let me know and I'll hit stop. All right.
Okay.
And then we can kind of see how quick that was. But yeah, back to kind of, trading and your, I guess your trading story. When did it really start kind of working for you, where you started seeing, the first signs of decent results?
I would say during the last 6 months, then slowly I've seen my accounts beginning to grow. I haven't really got over the line then for about 3 months after that, but I'd say for me, probably sort of November time, I changed a little bit, tweaked a little bit of my sort of strategies and what I was doing, and started to make some smaller, more consistent gains, risking a little bit less because the markets can be volatile and bite you back really easily. So, for me, it was probably around sort of November into December, and then January's been a fantastic month.
Definitely. So 2026 could be your year for trading.
Let's.
Um,
I certainly hope so.
I feel like it probably will. I think you've definitely kind of passed that threshold now where you realize like, oh, okay, it is possible now. Because at first when you start, it almost seems impossible. When you're blowing accounts, you're losing money. You're like, how the hell can I make this work? And then eventually you do kind of break through that, and then
Okay, so
you
I've
realize,
just
yeah,
had the email from
oh,
Rise inviting
okay,
me to accept the invite for the payment. So, uh,
oh, amazing. So that was 2 minutes, just for the viewers, which means the payout would have actually come through if if this wasn't your first payout with us and you didn't have to accept it.
yeah.
But yeah, so go ahead, do that. You don't have to share your screen for that, obviously.
Okay, let me just.
I'll keep the stopwatch running. We'll see how long it takes. Once you sign the documents, it should be pretty much instant.
Yeah, it's just having a think. As I said earlier, this PC struggles a little bit when I've got everything open, but we're getting there. Success, we've been accepted to the invite.
Where were we? We were talking about trading, right? So
Yeah,
do you have like a full-time job as well outside of trading? I'm,
uh,
I'm assuming you do.
yeah, absolutely. I'm a career retailer, unfortunately, and I say that. Well,
Okay.
it's been kind to me over the years, but uh, retail's changed a lot, and so
Mm.
the marketplace changes and everything changes. But I work with a charity looking after a number of charity shops, so
Oh,
love
very good.
supporting the charity and doing those bits. So trading for me has been my exit plan, my sort of
Yeah.
my long term exit plan for how do I finally leave retail, and stop having to get up at a ridiculous o'clock in the morning and travel around shops, and be able to spend more time with my family, and
Yeah.
replace my income. That's my ultimate goal. Um, and so yeah, that's why I'm
Amazing.
doing it. That's why I've spent the time learning and understanding.
No, it makes complete sense. And do you feel that having, like a full-time job, another income basically that pays your bills, etc., that it makes trading a little bit easier because you're not so, you're not desperate for the win in trading. You're kind of anything you make is just gravy essentially.
Absolutely 100%. If I'd had to rely on my trading results and payouts so far, it would have been incredibly awkward. So yeah, I've got my role, my career, which gives me kind of what I need. And anything that I make on that allows me to plan an exit, or
Yeah,
get things done around the house, go on a holiday. Um,
that's
Treat
it.
my wife to something nice. I've got an idea that I'm going to surprise her now for Valentine's Day with a night out in
Oh,
London to one of those big jazz shows. Um,
amazing.
so that's the plan. Yeah,
No, really nice. Hopefully she doesn't watch this before Valentine's.
she's not going to.
That's
She's not interested. She'll ask me how it's going, and I'll either frown or say better. Um,
But amazing stuff. No, that sounds incredible. And I mean, that's the dream at the end of the day, isn't it? That is always the dream. Like the typical dream that they push down your throats of you sitting on the beach with a laptop making millions is
Yeah,
a bit
I'm
ridiculous.
not sure
But
that's realistic for the vast majority
yeah,
of traders. I don't know how large your account would have to be to make that a feasible thing, but that it is definitely possible. That's the bit that I like. It's
yeah,
definitely possible with discipline, regime, a strategy.
yeah,
Those things could happen. My wife prefers
definitely.
the city to the beach, so I'll have to be in a bar somewhere on a high-rise building. That'll work.
With a laptop,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that would be quite dangerous, actually. But yeah, no, absolutely. And what I love is like just the reality of just the little things, like you said. You're able to treat your wife to something special for Valentine's. And that is okay, I'm not saying you couldn't do that without trading. Obviously, you could still, but like it opens up another kind of possibility, in your life, and it just, I don't know, like when I started trading, it although it wasn't my full-time income, it just made everything feel a bit more smooth. Like I felt like I had a bit more hope. If anything happened, I had something to rely on. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If I can, or when I become consistent and get payouts, it gives you that if the worst happens in whatever else I'm doing, or a sudden bill turns up, then actually I can deal with it. Um,
that's it.
so yeah, it's all about trying to get things a bit more comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
But I
Um,
wouldn't
with
underestimate how
yeah,
much time and effort though I've put
oof,
in looking at charts, watching videos, listening to reading things, and the whole lot. So it is hard work, but it's enjoyable
yeah.
when you get it right.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It is a lot of hard work, but once you have that knowledge and experience, like you said, you can essentially, without sounding too kind of cheesy, but you can essentially print money on demand to a certain degree. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah. You, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, that sounds easier than it really is. But when you've got
yeah,
a strategy that works, or you become consistent, the more time you do it, the more you look for opportunities. Yeah, the more you could print.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk a little bit about psychology though, because having a strategy and all that is all well and good. Actually, before we go into psychology, I would love to know a little bit about your strategy and what you're willing to share with us. So,
So
what do you kind of look for on a day-to-day basis?
um, I think the first thing for me is I want to know what the trend is doing. Now, gold's been on a pretty serious upward trend um, for a while. So it's on an upward trend, but you know that you're going to get after big moves. You're going to get some pullbacks and leveling out. So for me, I suppose there's two things that I tend to look at and really think about is what do I know how certain markets behave. So I know we were speaking earlier, and the Asian market tends to be more bullish on gold. The London market is a little bit more staid, and then the American market can get a bit more excited again. So so you know about those bits. I tend to trade then looking for a big pullback. I'll use some of the indicators from Trading View. Um, I really like to look at sort of the 1 hour timeline and then back at the 5 minute timeline, um, to see exactly what's happening with it. Um, and I use usually I can never say it, the
Stochastics.
stochastic
Yeah, yeah,
indicator to sort of show me the ups and downs.
yeah.
I've tried various different tools, but it's just for me. I'm trying to find that right peak. And I suppose the other thing is the amount that you risk. So every time I take a trade, I'm looking at on the chart and adjusting my stop loss to make sure that the loss I'm comfortable with as an opportunity. Whether that loss is two, three, £400, I try not to have never really risk anything more than absolute max 1%, but I rather risk 0.5% of the account on each trade. Um, Sometimes I like to put in two or three smaller trades on what is effectively the same trade, so that actually, I can take, I call it partial profits, um, as we go through. It's landed on rise.
Oh,
It's just
perfect. I'll
landed.
hit stop. So just shy of 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 44 seconds. Incredible stuff. Can you just show the viewers that it's actually
Yeah, yeah. Let
landed?
me just share that
It's
screen.
nice to have the visual as well. Yep, there it is. 6.5K. What a banger of a payout that is.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Incredible stuff. Hopefully next month
Whatever
as well.
happens
Another.
today, it's a good day.
Exactly. Nothing can put your mood down today, which is brilliant. But yeah, no, really, really good stuff. That came through very quick as well. So awesome stuff from the Ola Prime team as well. But going back to what we were saying, um, so you like trending markets, obviously, follow the
Yeah.
trend, great. You're looking for pullbacks. Is gold kind of your go-to instrument, or let's say gold is just a bit boring today? It's not really. I mean, I know lately it's just been insane, but let's just say it's
Yeah.
ranging a bit. Would you look for something else to trade?
99% of all of my time and effort is spent looking at gold. And I suppose that comes from me the fact that when you think about fiat currencies and other pairs, it almost feels to me like there's two moving sides to the equation. What might be going on in USD, what might be going on GPB, and I I don't have the time to get really close to both of those markets and understand exactly what's going on. And so for me, gold is 100% my preferred instrument.
Yeah,
It seems it's probably not, but it seems in my head a simpler instrument to trade. Um,
yeah. No, that's an absolutely fair point you made. Because you're absolutely right. It's one individual asset. Yes, it's backed, gold versus the US dollar, but that's just the pricing of it. And it is because of that. Like you said, there's only really one side.
yeah,
So whatever factors would affect gold's price are going to come into play. Whereas when you have two currency pairs, like you said, it could be very imbalanced. Something really negative for the pound, for example, great for the dollar, or vice versa, and then you can get these big swings. But that balance is kind of very, it's very hard to kind of judge,
yeah, that's what I found. I mean,
from the
look,
fundamentals.
we know
Yeah,
gold's a safe haven. We know that's why people have flooded to it recently, why the price has skyrocketed, um, and all of those bits. But it just feels like gold doesn't actually do anything. It's all about what's going on outside it that's driving that price. Yeah. Whereas when you've got to look at what's going on in Japan's markets or in pound markets, and then what's going on and try and work the two out. I found that just more difficult to get a grip of.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. No, you're 100% right, and that's a really, really good point you made there. I mean, that's partly why I only trade indices as well, because it's for me, Nasdaq tech
Yeah.
companies, great, and okay, each individual stock, of course, especially the big ones, are going to affect the overall Nasdaq price, but it's less so. I don't know. I just find it a bit more cleaner as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah. That makes
It's
sense.
a
That
bit more
makes
simpler to understand. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Talking about psychology really quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a very difficult part when it comes to trading. Strategy is actually the easy part, I would say. Nailing an edge in the market is relatively easy. Executing it correctly is the hard part. Do you find, like, in all honesty, do you feel you're kind of past that? You kind of got a grip of your psychology and emotional side, or do you think, there's still a
That's
lot left to
look.
work on?
Um, I'm clearly now, after looking and doing this for a year, much less emotional about it. When things go right, yeah, it's good, and when things go wrong, it's not so good. It's not a disaster. But I think it would be naive to think that we don't get impacted, and our psychology still doesn't play a big part to it. I'd love to be more like a robot and have no emotion attached to what I'm doing, but I want to be successful. I want those things, and that's what drives the emotion. But it also drives you to learn and do the other bits with it. So it is double edged. But no, I think it would be churlish to say that I'm completely over that. But I'm much more cold about it, if
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Which is the scary part. You almost have to be a bit of a, it's a big word, but a bit of a psychopath to be a really good trader. You have to be so kind of dead inside almost. I
Yeah.
don't mean, traders are psychopaths, of course not. But
No. No.
yeah, you got to almost adapt to that kind of robotic role to really, you know, get far in trading, and then obviously in your real life you kind of switch the emotions back on almost and
Yeah.
be a normal human being again, which is a very difficult balance. But again, it comes down with time. There's no individual trick in my experience that you can just do and all of a sudden you're okay. It's just the more times you get beaten up, the more times you feel pain, eventually you just become numb to it and it starts working.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. You've got to stop taking it
Um,
personally. Gold is
yes,
not personal. It doesn't care
exactly.
what's going on. It's not personal. So put it in the
Exactly.
box and learn from it and move on.
100%. 100%. Paul, let's talk a little bit about Ola Prime. So I know you've taken a bunch of challenges with us. You had a bit of a rocky start, but now you're, broken through. You're funded, got your payout. Hopefully, many more as well in the future. How has your kind of overall experience been with Ola Prime so far?
Um, for me, it's been really good. Um, what I find is look, the website's nice and easy to navigate. You'd expect all of those things. The rules are clear for you to look at and understand. And there've been a few occasions where I've had to reach out for support to ask questions to understand things. Um, and the guys there, you can always chat to a live person. They've been really great, really responsive, and answered and sorted out any of my queries really quickly. And it's like requesting the payout today. I know, okay, we've done it live, but yeah, it works as it should. That would be my view.
Definitely, definitely. And yeah, I mean, the whole payout thing, average time is just under an hour. So there are obviously people who get it, maybe 50 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes there can be little delays, so it takes a little bit longer than an hour, but the average time has been under an hour. I think the quickest we ever processed was, I think it was like almost a minute. Um, Completely insane. But yeah, like
And you know,
it
I
does
think, I
vary,
think if I
obviously.
hadn't had to sign all the documents for the first one, then that would have
Yeah,
probably halved
that
the
would have been
cost.
about
Yeah,
2 minutes or so. Yeah. So, but either way, I think it was like 12 minutes or something until you actually got the money, which is
yeah,
still, I think,
that's
it
pretty
doesn't really
quick, isn't
matter
it?
at that point. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, incredible stuff, and I'm glad you're having a good experience with us.
Yeah.
What is kind of the future for you? What's the future plans? Are you looking to get more capital, grow?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'm going to take some more challenges and try and build up some funded accounts. So that will be, I'll keep trading this one, but also I'm going to get a second and a third and try and build those up as well. I mean, ultimately for me, it would be to be able to build up my own fund, and then you can trade entirely without any restrictions. Although I've got to
yeah,
say, I mean, look, the restrictions are there for a reason. I've never thought of them there to try and you hear people saying they're there to catch you out or do this or not. They're not. They're there. I To me, it seems to give you guidance around how
yeah,
to trade successfully. You don't bang in a four lot
yeah.
gold trade and expect it to fly and not get caught out. So yeah,
Absolutely.
the rules are there to be followed, but ultimately it would be to have my own trading account.
No, absolutely. And what you just said there kind of proves that you're looking at it as a business, not as a gambler. Because it's
Yeah,
usually the gambling mentality that's like, why are these rules here? They're here to catch me out. 'Cause they just want to full port their accounts and, fingers crossed they'll make 100% or something. But I mean, even like the overall prop firm rules that not just us, but what pretty much every prop firm has, are still relatively lenient compared to if you were to go to like an old school prop firm or like a hedge
yeah.
fund or something. Like that's the reason why hedge funds probably do at best maybe 10% a year. It's because they don't allow the risk limit to go anywhere near their capital,
Absolutely.
their
Yeah,
overall capital.
yeah.
Like
Preserve your
if
capital.
a exactly, it's all about preserving the capital rather than risking more to make more. Otherwise, they could, of course, if they went a bit wild, they could do a lot more than that. They could probably, really bump up those numbers. But then you also have that massive risk of losing everything and all the
I'm always
clients
reminded
going
of Barings Bank.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
can't remember who the guy was. Nick Leeson, wasn't it, who blew the
yeah.
bank?
Oh,
Yeah. So rules are there for a reason, I think. Yeah.
exactly. And that's just the reality of trading, and the moment you realize that it's actually the aim of the game is to get more capital,
Yep.
which means, target smaller percentages with more capital rather than big percentages on smaller capital. The moment you realize that,
It gets a bit
that's
simpler.
where
It's
you
another one of
really
those
make
penny
strides.
drop moments, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. That's when you make strides into genuine like consistency as a trader. So, yeah, your mindset is bang on. You're viewing it correctly, which is really good. And we're very happy to have you on board. We hope that you keep trading with us and keep getting those payouts. Keep showing consistency, grow, all that good stuff, and hopefully in the future, at some point, down the line, as you've got more payouts, more accounts, we can have a little follow up as well. See how
Yeah.
you're getting on. That would be awesome.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Great. Well, Paul, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you again for coming on, being an all-round great guy, telling us your story, showing the payout, all that stuff. Really, really appreciate it.
Excellent. Sam, it's been my pleasure today. It really has. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And to all the viewers, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on channel notifications, join our Discord, watch other videos of ours, do all that good stuff. It really does help us out. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.